Everyone agrees murder is wrong, stealing is wrong, lying is wrong. We call these moral truths, universal, timeless, obvious. But why are they wrong? Because they hurt people? Why is hurting people wrong? Because it's immoral. That's just the same word again. Where do these rules actually come from? Who decided? When? Why these specific rules and not others? Morality is universal. This is not an explanation, it's a claim. Like saying fire burns because it's hot. Circular reasoning masquerading as wisdom. The real origin of morality is not what you think. It's not discovered, it's invented. And it's invented by specific people for specific reasons. The reason has nothing to do with truth or the universe. It's about who had the power to make you feel guilty. So when someone says, "We know murder is wrong because morality tells us so," you should ask, what is morality? A system of right and wrong. What makes something right or wrong? Morality. You see the problem. We've named something without explaining it. Like a child saying, because. We've substituted a label for understanding. And everyone just accepts it. You accept it. I accepted it. We all walk around with this certainty. Murder is wrong, lying is wrong, stealing is wrong, but if you actually press on the reasoning, it collapses immediately into circular definitions. So let's ask a sharper question. Not, is murder wrong? That assumes morality exists as some kind of fact about the universe. Instead, why do I feel like murder is wrong? Why does my stomach turn at the thought? Why do I feel guilt, shame, disgust? These are physical sensations in your body, actual feelings. Someone put them there. Who? Morality is not discovered like gravity or photosynthesis. It's invented like money or property rights. Think about that. There's no morality particle in nature. No moral field permeating space. Lions don't feel guilty eating gazelles. Earthquakes don't apologize for destroying cities. Viruses don't consider whether they're being fair to their hosts. Nature has no morality, only cause and effect, action and consequence, survival and extinction. So where does human morality come from? From humans, obviously, but which humans? All of them equally, arriving at the same conclusions through pure reason? No. Morality comes from whoever had the power to make their values stick, to make you internalize their preferences as truth, to install their voice inside your head so that even when you're alone, you police yourself according to their rules. Let me prove this to you. Look at what different cultures call moral. Ancient Greeks, cowardice in battle was shameful, glory in conquest was noble, dying well in combat was the highest virtue. Medieval Christians, humility is virtue, pride is sin, meekness is blessed, self-denial is holy, exact opposite. Modern Westerners, individual autonomy is sacred, personal freedom is the highest good, obedience is suspect. Ancient Romans. Strength and domination were admirable, weakness was contemptible. Showing mercy was almost a character flaw. Buddhism. Desire itself is the problem. Attachment causes suffering. Detachment is enlightenment. These aren't variations on the same theme. They're fundamentally incompatible value systems, all claiming to be moral truth, all making people feel guilty about different things. The Spartan warrior feels shame about showing fear. The Christian monk feels shame about feeling pride. The modern liberal feels shame about restricting someone's autonomy. Same species, same brain structure, different guilt. Why? Because different people installed different values. And here's the thing, each system claims it's not invented. Each claims, these are the true, universal, eternal moral laws. Why the lie? Because if you admit you invented the rules, people might not follow them. Much more effective to claim, God said so, or nature demands it, or reason proves it. Then disobedience becomes not just disagreement, it becomes sin, or ignorance, or irrationality. Brilliant strategy. But who actually did the inventing? Throughout history, two types create morality: the powerful and the powerless. First, the powerful. Let's call them warriors, nobles, masters. They create what I call master morality. What do they value? What they are: strong, healthy, confident, life-affirming, proud. They call themselves good simply because they're powerful, successful, alive in the fullest sense. Everything else is bad, not evil, just inferior, weak, contemptible, beneath notice. Think ancient aristocrats. Good meant noble birth, courage, physical strength, victory. Bad meant common, cowardly, weak, defeated. No guilt involved, just hierarchy, just natural rank. The strong don't feel guilty about being strong. Why would they? Then something interesting happens. The powerless, the priests, the weak, the oppressed, the slaves, they invent a different morality, slave morality. But they can't compete on strength, so they compete on guilt. Brilliant strategy, they say. Actually, your qualities are evil. Strength, that's pride. Sinful. Wealth, that's greed. Dominance, that's oppression. Violence, that's barbarism. Our qualities are good: humility, poverty, meekness, self-denial, suffering, weakness. They invert the whole value system. What the masters called good, the slaves call evil. What the masters called bad, the slaves call blessed. And here's the genius. They make it stick by making you feel guilty. Not just afraid of punishment, not just concerned about consequences. Guilty, internally, in your bones. You police yourself now. The warrior could ignore external punishment if he's strong enough. He could fight, flee, resist. But guilt? Guilt operates from inside. You become your own prison guard, your own prosecutor, your own torturer. Christianity perfected this mechanism. The meek shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the poor in spirit. The last shall be first. Slave morality as cosmic victory. The weak win by making the strong feel guilty about their strength. And we're still living in it. Think about what you feel guilty about. Not just actions, thoughts. You feel guilty for being angry, for wanting things, for feeling superior to someone. You feel guilty for succeeding when others fail. You feel guilty for prioritizing yourself over others. Who benefits from your guilt? Not you. Let's be honest. You've been taught selfishness is bad, humility is good, sacrifice is noble, pride is sin. Why? Who does this serve? The priest says, deny yourself, serve others, feel guilty about your desires. Your very existence is a debt you owe to humanity. And you do it. You actually feel guilty. Not because it's true, because it was installed in you. Parents, teachers, religion, culture, they all repeated it from the time you were a child. Don't be selfish. Think of others. Be humble. Share. Sacrifice. And now when you want something? Guilt. When you succeed? Guilt. When you prioritize yourself? Guilt. When you feel proud? Guilt. This is not natural. Animals don't feel guilty for surviving. Babies don't feel guilty for demanding food. Guilt is learned, taught, programmed, installed like software. By whom? The powerless who needed you to feel bad about being powerful, or their descendants who forgot it was a strategy and now believe it's truth, who teach it to their children as morality rather than this is how we control each other. So what's the alternative? If morality is invented, not discovered, then it's not true or false. It's useful or useless, adaptive or maladaptive, life-affirming or life-denying. And here's where people get uncomfortable. Are you saying murder is okay? No, I'm saying murder is not wrong because the universe says so. It's wrong because we decided we don't want to live in a world where anyone can murder anyone. That's a preference, not a cosmic fact. It's a decision we make because we value living, because we value cooperation, because societies where people murder each other freely tend to collapse. Much more honest, much more fragile, which is why priests don't say it that way. They need you to think it's truth, not preference, because preferences can be questioned. I prefer we don't murder can be met with, well, I prefer otherwise. But murder is objectively wrong by the command of God. That shuts down debate. Except it's a lie. A useful lie, perhaps. A lie that holds societies together. But still a lie. And once you see morality as invention, as preference dressed up as cosmic law, you can't unsee it. Which means you have a choice. You can either accept inherited values, keep living by the moral code installed in you as a child, or create your own. Most people never even realize they're following someone else's morality. They think guilt is their own voice. It's not. It's the priest's voice, or culture's voice, or your parents' voice, installed in childhood, speaking through you. Ventriloquism. So the first task, recognize which values are truly yours. Not what you were taught to value, what you actually value when you're honest with yourself. This is harder than it sounds. You've been conditioned to lie to yourself. Of course I value humility, sacrifice, serving others. Do you? Really? Or do you value strength, achievement, excellence, power, but feel guilty admitting it? Be honest. Strip away the guilt and ask, what would I value if no one was watching? If there were no punishment, no judgment, no afterlife? What kind of life would you actually want to live? That's closer to your actual values. Then, create. Decide consciously what kind of life affirms you, what values serve your flourishing. Not humanity's, not God's, not society's, yours. This is not selfishness in the guilty sense, it's honesty. And yes, it's dangerous. If everyone creates their own morality, won't chaos ensue? Possibly. But chaos is already here, hidden under the veneer of universal morality. People already act selfishly while claiming they're moral. Politicians wage wars while invoking justice. Businesses exploit workers while preaching values. Religious leaders abuse children while teaching virtue. At least if we admit morality is created, we stop pretending. We negotiate honestly. I value this, you value that. How do we coexist without killing each other? More importantly, most people are too weak to create their own values anyway. They'll keep following the herd. They need to be told what to do. They want the comfort of absolute moral rules handed down from above. This is for the few who can bear it, who can live without the comforting lie that the universe approves of their choices, who can choose their values and live them without cosmic reassurance, without divine permission, without the applause of eternity, who can say, this is what I value, this is how I'll live, and I need no justification beyond my own will. That's what it means to create values. But here's what it changes. Remember where we started. Murder is wrong. You probably still agree, but now you know why you agree. Not because God said so, not because the universe demands it, not because reason proves it, but because you value a society where people don't murder each other. That's your preference, consciously chosen. Much more honest than claiming it's objective moral truth, and much more powerful, because now you're responsible for your values. You can't blame God or nature or reason. You chose them, which means you can defend them. Not with, it's just wrong, circular nonsense, but with, this is the world I want to live in, and here's why. That's a real conversation. That's adults talking to each other as equals, comparing preferences, finding common ground. Not priests scolding children, not authorities handing down commandments. And once you see morality this way, you see it everywhere. Every should and shouldn't, every guilt trip, every moral crusade, every person clutching their pearls in outrage, someone trying to install their values in you, someone trying to make you feel bad for not sharing their preferences, someone playing priest, trying to convince you their invented rules are cosmic truths. So morality isn't discovered. It's created by whoever has the power to make you feel guilty. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Every moral rule is someone's preference dressed up as cosmic truth. Every universal value is a particular group's invention. Every feeling of guilt is someone else's voice in your head. But here's what I haven't told you yet. Why do the weak ones keep winning? Why is slave morality still dominant after thousands of years? Why are we still living in the value system invented by the powerless? Think about it. The masters had all the actual power: armies, wealth, physical strength, social position, and yet the slaves won the moral war. Christianity, Buddhism, modern egalitarianism, all variations of slave morality, all teaching you to feel guilty about strength, wealth, pride, power. How did the powerless overpower the powerful? Not with swords, with guilt. That's a different question. And the answer is stranger than you think. It has to do with what happens when the strong start believing the weak are right, when the masters internalize slave morality, when power itself becomes guilty. I've got to stop somewhere.